In this video, I'm going to give you some of the best fingertip mice you can buy right now. Some of these designs are strange for those that don't follow the gaming mouse space. Hold on, what's he doing here? So what is the ideal fingertip mouse? You're looking for something that gives a lot of support for your fingers to get secure grip and also reducing as much contact as possible to other parts of your hand. And remember, it's fingertips, so if anything more than the tips of your fingers touch the mouse, well, that's just not going to work, buddy. The side buttons need to be easy to reach without having to mess up your aim when you're trying to reach them, so they have to be well positioned and possibly be able to be used with just a roll of the thumb. At the end of this video as well, I'll be giving my top recommendations on this list for those that demand some sort of leaderboard type thing. So let's begin with the eggs. Now I put all these eggs in one basket. Because they are known as a specific category themselves, and these eggs are great for fingertip grip for a few reasons. They have a smooth and flat top curve, they're normally short of length, and they have well positioned side buttons. So these fill the standard baseline. Firstly, we have the Fantech or T-Volution Aria XD7. Which is probably the best for technology at the moment, with it having some of the best hardware on the market, with a 3395 sensor, KLGM 8.0 switches, and also featuring some great switches on the side buttons and scroll wheel as well. This mouse is packing with some of the favoured hardware for most gaming mice enthusiasts, so it's most certainly great in the hardware department, and it weighs just 59 grams. It also has swappable back shells if you don't want any holes, and grip tape for the tips of your fingers to really get to grips with this mouse. On the right side there is an overhang of the main button, but there is support on the side of the mouse for your ring finger to be placed. This is probably one of the best mice on this list based on specifications. I'd say it's worth a look at unless you're put off by the overhanging buttons. It is still comfortable for me to use in game with my fingers being supported enough to provide a nice sturdy grip. This is a mid to high tier price, which considering its hardware is really good. Next is a personal all-round favourite that I seem to find whatever excuse I can to put it in a video, the Razer Orochi V2. This is one of the best value for money on this list. It's around mid-tier performance wise, and I love this mouse for being a completely contained device. It has a coarse coating for extra grip, so no grip tape required, and it is still quite light even with the removable battery, with it being just 74 grams, which can also fit a AAA version as well, so you can go even lighter. Much like the XD7, there's overhang on the main buttons, but again my ring finger is also nicely placed up against the right side of the shelf for support. This mouse is probably best for anyone that's looking for something safe and at a mid-range price. And it's quite often it can drop to the lower end as well if it's on sale, so it's probably one of the best value for money. Then there's the G305, the modder's dream. This poor mouse has probably gone under the knife more than any other gamer mouse in existence. I wouldn't recommend it as it weighs 96 grams and has horrible plastic mouse feet. If you get a lighter battery you can bring that down to 88 grams, and then there's further reductions that you can do as well to bring it down to something more suitable, but that's a hole that will let you go down yourself. This mouse is more of a perfect design out of all the eggs, with there being no button overhang allowing you to have a choice of resting your ring finger on the perch or up against the side. Because it's such a popular egg-shaped mouse that's fantastic for fingertips, it would be a crime to not include it in this list, even if it's not perfect by default. I guess a part of the journey of buying this mouse is making it into the perfect one. All of these eggs will be great mice for fingertip users. There are more eggs out there, but I have a time limit. Next is the Razer Viper Mini, a well-loved mouse because of its small size, great performance and low cost. Fans of this mouse are still waiting patiently for a wireless mini version, which will be here anytime now. It might even come out after the XM2. Anyway, this mouse has all the key components of a fingertip mouse: a low height and minimal curves. It shares the same bonus as the Orochi V2 with having a coarse coating for extra grip for your fingers. There can be a slight issue with the side button placement and usage, as I can't reach the lowest one without adjusting my grip, but again there is support if you have your ring finger pressed up against the right side. And the thinness of this mouse might make it a bit of a no-go for some, as it can be hard to get a secure grip on it, as everyone's hands are different. I know this because people keep telling me their hand sizes, as if I'm just some sort of sizing guide. Please stop telling me how big your hands are, I don't care. Anyway, this is still a great mouse that is just universally loved. This is also on the low to mid tier in terms of pricing, with it being on sale often, taking it to the very low end of around $25. Back to the weird designs, the MZ1 is designed by the famous mouse review man Rocket Jump Ninja, who designed this mouse with Extrafy. Boasting some high tier hardware and a lightweight of just 62 grams, this shape is actually pretty good for fingertip grip. It's small, thin, and comes with swappable backs if you want to change the hump size. The side buttons also contribute to the selection of this mouse, as they are well placed and very easy to use, with both being able to be used just by rocking my thumb. It also comes with adjustable weight distribution, so you can change it to be a balanced, top heavy or bottom heavy mouse depending on your preference. So it's got a whole host of customization features to make this into the perfect mouse for you. However, it might be a bit too narrow for some, and I find when fingertipping this mouse, my ring finger sits on the right button, and with the shape and my positioning, it actually feels quite easy to misclick it. When I move my finger down to the right side, it does actually start rubbing against the button again here as well, and causes a bit of soreness on my ring finger. So overall, it can be a little bit sketchy for ideal finger positioning, and it can also cause some accidental misclicks if you have your ring finger resting on the mouse 2 button. To me, if this mouse didn't have the overhanging buttons, then this would be kind of perfect for fingertip. This is in the more high tier pricing bracket, but you are getting great hardware, and for me, Extrafy have some of the best quality control going. Continuing with the more absurd designs, this is the G-Wolves HS-K Plus. There's a new one out, review coming soon. This is purposely designed for fingertip grips, simply because there's hardly anything for you to touch. You could claw grip it, I guess, if you really tried, or palm grip it if you want to use what's called the middle phalange of your finger to trigger the buttons. I googled that. As it's purposely designed for fingertips, you'd expect it to be perfect, and I'd say it is. The side button placement is perfect, with the buttons being covered by my thumb, allowing a slight rocking movement to use both of them. There's support on the right side for my ring finger to just get a little perch on. It's super lightweight, with it just being around 40 grams as well. But there is a downside. Look at that. That's micro USB. This mouse was released this year as well, and it's got micro USB. Honestly, this might be the perfect mouse for fingertip users. I guess the fact that it is incredibly narrow could be a downside, as it might highly depend on the size of your hand, factoring into where you place your fingers. I guess it is a bit expensive, as it's a high tier cost, which is strange, especially considering when you pay full price for what is obviously half a mouse. So those are my picks for some of the best fingertip mice you can buy right now. There's many more out there though, it just doesn't end at these, but these are my recommendations. If I had to choose one to recommend, I'd probably go for the Orochi V2, as I think it's the safest bet out of all the mice that's most likely to please everyone. And it's not too expensive either. And I would say as well the HS-K Plus is probably the best fingertip mouse, just because it's purposely designed. Which one is your favourite? Let me know, even if I've not included it in the list. And also a slight word of advice, if you fingertip your mouse and you raise your wrist off the mousepad, don't. You are going to mess up your arm when you get older. Keep that wrist on the mousepad. I also did a full review of the MZ Wireless, which will show on screen now. You should go watch it. It's not like you had anything else planned today.